All right, guys, welcome in. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. We are ready for tonight's our takeaway from this week's 30 books in 30 weeks reading selection. This week's book is Loving What Is, my favorite book of all time. Game changer, lifesaver. Changed everything for me when I learned how to apply the strategies that are in this book. And so we've invested the majority of the week in talking about the importance of asking the right questions and the power of the inquiry and making sure we're minding our business versus someone else's business, and even being able to decipher the difference between your business, my business, and God's business, making sure you stay focused on your own business instead of everyone else's. And so we talked last night about the last two nights actually about minding the right business and then asking for critical questions to keep you operating in a space of reality. And so tonight we're going to take that final step and go into the turnaround, which is a game changer, total game changer. So if you have not shared this video out, please do so. Invite some others in to join us. This is a strategy, a tool for your toolbox that you don't want to miss. Okay, so if you happen to be joining in for the very first time, you have no clue what I'm talking about, what 30 Books in 30 Weeks is. It is a personal development reading series that I started a couple of months ago. 2018 was all about raising the bar, and so I wanted to really ramp up that reading series and that personal development series and give everyone some real tools from each of these different personal development books. So I'm investing the next 30 weeks in rating my personal development library. I'm pulling out all the tricks of the trade, all the little tools that I use on a regular basis, strategies that I know for a fact work because I've worked them in my own life. I've used the strategies. I don't share things that I haven't tried personally. I'm telling you from a place of personal experience. I'm telling you from a place of I've been there, done that, and I know that it works. And this right here works. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Marcy Batiste. I'm a public speaker, I'm an author, and I'm a success and recovery trainer. And I work with women to help them embrace and discover and embrace their star power. And I'm known for a couple of things. Number one, my favorite thing in the whole wide world is to help women shine. I live life on Mars, and I am forever sold out to my happiness. And so this was how I got there. So this is how I learned to live life on Mars and truly operate in a space that it's my world, my life, my rules, and be completely unapologetic and be able to stand in my truth, stand with transparency, and interact with people in an authentic way, because it is about me. I know that I own all of my choices. And so this book, this strategy, really talks to and trains you how to train your mind to operate from a place of personal responsibility. And so when I titled this video, You Might Be Making You Miserable. And that's because most of the time, the things that we get so upset about are not the things themselves. It's not what other people are doing to us. It's not situations that are occurring. We're upset by the thought that we attach to it. And so that's what we've talked about for most of this week. We started this journey in this book on Monday night. And most of this week, that's what we've talked about, is it's about what you think about the experience. It's what you think about people that upsets you. It gets you frustrated, gets you irritated, gets you riled up, gets your blood boiling, gets your blood pressure rising. All those things are self-inflicted. Newsflash, it's really about you. It's not really about them. It's about you and how you think about it. And it's about you trying to compete with reality, when in fact we get upset because we're saying things like, they shouldn't do this, or they should have done this, and they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't act that way. They shouldn't speak that way. They shouldn't treat me that way. The fact is, they did. Fact is, if you're using words like they should or shouldn't, you're in their business. You need to bring it back in mind. Your business. And if it's outside of your control, it's outside of their control, then that is God's business. That's in that space of reality. And I want people to live, love, and learn in a space of reality. I'm a very much a reality-based trainer from the standpoint that once you learn to stop battling with reality, reality can actually become your best friend, because it allows you to operate truly with, as the title of the book implies, what is. And you learn to love what is. And that doesn't mean that you enjoy or you appreciate or you accept everything that comes along, or every way that people behave. It simply means that you don't try to make it something it's not. You accept it for what it is, and then you choose consciously, make a decision. Does this work for me? Is this something that I want in my life? Is this an individual that I choose to be in relation with? And for those of you who follow me all the time, you know that's a huge thing. We teach people how to be in relation with us. This helps. This is one of the key tools for your toolbox. So when we talk about putting the tools in your toolbox so you can pull them out when you need them, this is a tool that you need to make sure you have. Is the skills of asking these 4 very, very important questions. Number 1, is it true? And if so, how do I know for it to be true? Second of all, can I say it's absolutely true? And in absolution, we talk about there being no other possibilities. So if what I'm thinking is true, how do I know that it's true? And then, is it absolute? Is there another possibility? Did I maybe misinterpret something? And when we're really completely honest, most of the time, there's a little bitty window that says we don't know for a fact that it's true. But then we have to ask ourselves whether it's true or not. How do I react? How do I behave based on that information? Do I get outraged? Do I snap off? Do I, start throwing things, cussing people out, withdrawing? Do I sink into depression? What are the changes within me that are tied to the thoughts that I have about behaviors and situations dealing with other people, right? And so when you understand that, then you have to say, okay, so if I'm to understand that this incident has made me feel a certain type of way based on how I think about it, then what do I look like? What changes if I don't have that thought? My blood pressure comes down. I'm less agitated. I'm more happy. I'm more content. I'm more focused. And so you can kind of see, once you detach from that thought and take that thought away and realize that maybe if I've answered honestly in number 2, can you absolutely know for a fact that this is true? And I use the example of whether or not someone's listening to you. If I say he doesn't listen, then do I know for a fact he's not listening, or am I just assuming he's not listening because he's not looking at me? Am I assuming they're not listening because they're multitasking? Am I assuming that they're not listening for whatever reason? But oftentimes people are listening. They just might not be looking with you. They might not be engaging. If it's on the phone, they might not be responding back. Okay, I understand. They might not be doing those things. So you assume that they're not listening, and that's not the case. So when you ask the question, can I know that this is absolutely true? You can't. And so if you can't know for a fact that it's true, then that means it's not necessarily reality. It's more than likely a thought or a feeling that you're having. And then how do you feel about the thought, and how do you feel if you release that thought? And then the final step, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, is the turnaround. And that's how you make it about you. And as a reality-based trainer, as someone who prides themselves and their coaching style on personal ownership, self-management, self-investments, this turning it around and making it about you is so important, because what you do in the turnaround is everything that you just said about the other person, you turn it around and you put you in their place. So if I'm going to say he doesn't listen to me, I can just as easily say in the turnaround, I don't listen to him. I don't like it when I. And so you take the he or the she out of it and you replace it with the me and the I. And then you start to see, oh, I do listen though. So if I say he doesn't listen, and I turn it around and I say, I don't listen. Well, that's not true. I know that I was listening because X, Y, and Z. And that's listening is just one example. It's an example that they use in the book, so that's the one I share when I'm teaching this strategy. But I will tell you guys honestly, when I learned to apply this was after my experience with domestic violence in the physical form, because I'd experienced it many times, not realizing it was domestic violence. And I was the type of person, I was codependent, I was had abandonment issues, lots of stuff going on mentally and emotionally within my spirit. And it was so easy to blame other people, and so easy to say, well, they did this or they did that. And what I discovered, and the way that I was able to heal and recover, and this is part of what I teach in my coaching with my coaching programs, is that you have to own every decision that you've made. And so, yes, he was abusive. Yes, he was physically abusive. That's the reality, right? But what I know to be true is that I made decisions to engage in that relationship that I potentially, had I had the tools in my toolbox, tools like this, being able to knowing how to hold crucial conversations, knowing how to do some of the things that I've shared with you guys throughout the past 7 weeks. If I'd had some of those tools, that abuse could have been avoided. That bad relationship experience could have been avoided. And so then when I learned to begin having these conversations, and when I really decided, you know what, I have to change my life, that meant I have to change how I engage with people. I have to teach people how to be in relation with me differently. I have to be able to set boundaries. So all of these things that we've been talking about this first 6 or 7 weeks of this year were all strategies that I had to employ. But this right here is the in the moment, in the middle of the conversation, when you're having the thought, when you're having the feeling, when you're having the emotion, don't sit in it. Don't sit on it. You don't have to. You can teach yourself to employ these strategies and really go through those series of questions like that, just that quick. And it's like you have a thought, okay, you notice I'm feeling an emotional feeling about that. Is what I'm upset about true? How do I know it's true? Is it absolutely true? Could I be mistaken? Could it be something else? Could it be, oh, well, if I can't tell you absolutely 177% it's a fact, it's true, there's no other possibility, there's no way for there to be a misunderstanding, there's no way for there to be a miscommunication. If I can't tell you that, then it's a thought, it's a feeling, it's not reality. And you need to bring it back to reality and say, okay, now that I know I'm having a thought, I'm having a feeling, and now I feel what it's done to my body. My blood pressure is up. My heart rate is up. I'm starting to sweat. I'm starting to get agitated. Whatever the case may be, whatever those physical reactions are, those emotional reactions within your body are, when you feel those, then that's when you say, I need to change the thought. So maybe this isn't true. And what if they did listen to me? What if I was wrong? What if he wasn't really cheating? What if they really didn't steal my money? What if, because if you don't know it to be a fact, then you're upset by the thought of being betrayed. You're upset about the thought of being lied to, of being dismissed, of being, ignored. You're not upset about the issue. And so when you get to that point and you realize it really is the thought, then you can ask yourself, you start to ask yourself, well, why do I have these feelings and these thoughts about this person? And if it's continued behavior, then we need to move into crucial conversations. We need to move into boundaries. And we need to move into retraining people how to be in relationship with us. So that's how the inquiry works. That's how the 4 questions work. And so we'll go over this again tomorrow night a little bit deeper. I'll share some examples with you that the author shares in the book. But this book, I'm telling you guys, game changer. Game changer when you learn how to employ these. This is, as a matter of fact, my Raising the Bar coaching group, we are working on the Pillar of Wisdom this week. And so this is a great tool for them to learn how to build on the knowledge that they've obtained over time and then apply that wisdom. So when we talk about them embracing that star power, really understanding the W as one of the key pillars of star power, and that's how you learn to exercise within these pillars. That's how you learn to operate in a space of reality so that you can live and love in reality and mind your business. Don't mind your neighbor's business. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. I appreciate you for joining in. As always, thank you so much. But most of all, thanks for living life on Mars. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.